right, let's get started with our vintage Christmas cushion cover. All right, so I'm going to be starting in the center with my lighter gray color. I've decided that I'm going to kind of reverse the colors up a bit so that I end up with a dark gray on the outside, but I'll work through all of that with you. This particular color, this is the center section right here. We are only going to be making single crochets with this color. So if this is a color you don't have a lot of, this is a great spot to put it. So I'm going to be starting with a magic ring, which means that I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers. And then I'm going to go under. I'm going to pull that. I'm going to pull that through. And then I'm going to just kind of hang on to my circle here and chain 3. Now this will pull apart if you yank on it going outward, or it will make it very small if you yank on it on this side. Don't do that. Right now we need a little bit of a hole to work in, so we're going to put 16 double crochets in here. We're not counting this chain 3 as a double crochet. So let's go ahead and put 16 in our magic circle. And so we're working around all of this and into the center of that ring. All right, so I've got my 16 double crochets in here. This is the chain 3 I started with. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. At this point, I'm going to skip over that chain 3 and go into the first double crochet here. I'm going to slip stitch that together. I'm going to then take my little string in the back, and I'm going to pull that sucker nice and tight. And, you know, I don't want to pull it so tight that this ripples, but I want it tight enough so that it's nice and snug. So we have kind of a fairly tight circle happening here. And I apologize, I did tell you that this was only going to be single crochet on this first section, but the very first is apparently double crochet, and I apologize for giving you wrong information on that. So we are now going to start working only in single crochet. So we're not going to worry about this right now. We'll tuck that in later. Go ahead and chain 1. We're going to single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into that same join spot right here. So go into your join and pull up and single crochet, chain 2, and then go right back into that same spot and single crochet again. We have just made our first corner, okay? So now we're going to, according to the directions, single crochet into 3. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the next stitch, which is going to create the second corner. So single, chain 2, single. We're going to go into the next 3. So basically what I did is I took those 16 stitches and I broke them down into what would it look like if I did 4 sides. So you're going to have a corner, 4 corners, and then you're going to have equal stitches in between your corners. So basically I broke it down into working into 4 stitches per side. All right. So now we've got single, chain 2, and single. And then we're going to go in 3, 2, 3, and then we're going to do our very last corner. Single, chain 2, single, and then 1, 2, and 3. Now don't let your eye be fooled by that chain 3 that we started with, or that kind of pseudo stitch that gets created when you slip stitch to another stitch over here. Sometimes that throws me off, but just as long as you're counting and keeping track that way, skip over the little pretend stitch and go into the first single crochet of that row. And what that'll do is it'll just enclose that little section in there, and you're not going to see it anymore. And if you're a little bit tight on your corners, you just kind of adjust it so that you're getting a nice square square. All right, so basically the next 1, 2, 3 rows are going to be the same routine over and over again. We're already slip stitched into this first stitch, so we're going to slip stitch into the corner. So this is row number 3. So rows 3, 4, and 5 are going to be this. So what I'm going to do is work through row 3 with you, and then we'll come back after row 5 is complete, all right? So we slip stitched all the way into the corner, and now we're going to chain 1. We're going to make our corner again inside that corner space. So single, chain 2, single, and then single into each of the singles going across to the other corner. You should have a total of 7 single crochets per side. So this is, now remember, this is our corner. So this chain 2 counts as our corner. The only spaces we're going to be counting are then that first single crochet here, the singles you put in here, and then the next single in the corner. All right, so we go corner to corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now make your corner again. And so this is the next beginning of the next side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the corner. Make your corner and do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I just counted wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I did. And 7. 1, 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's our first stitch here. All right, so why did I only do 6? Because we started with that first corner, and in doing that, I put actually the last stitch of this row on before I started. So now we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet, and we have 7 stitches per side and 4 corners. All right, so you're going to do 2 more rows just like what we did. Slip stitch into the corner space and then start with your chain 1 single, chain 2 single in your corner. Create your corner, do your singles all the way around. I'll meet you back here after row 5. And one thing I want to remind you of as you're working each of your next 2 sides is that you're going to be adding 2 stitches per side. So where we had 7 here, your next row is going to have 9 and your next row is going to have 11. So you should have 11 single crochets per side when you finish round 5. All right, I have reached the end of round 5. I'm going to go ahead and cut my yarn now. And then I'm going to bring in the next color, which for me, I'm going to be using a white. We are actually going to start our leaf pattern now, and we're only going to have 1 leaf per side. So I have a tendency to start on the corner before so that I can work my yarn as I'm going around. All right, so we're still going to be working mostly in single crochet, but we're going to be doing kind of a variation of the spike stitch as well. So, and I kind of renamed it the leaf stitch because it creates a leaf. All right, so in our corner space, we're going to join with a chain 1. We're going to, once again, create our normal corner. And then as I'm working along, I'll be catching up this yarn into the stitches as I'm working around them. So go ahead and single into the first 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we're going to have to really pay attention to what we're doing now. So we're going to have a total of 5 leaves coming down, plus there's a chain 2 in here, and then there is an extra stitch at the end that kind of completes our leaf. So we're going to start with our first move, which is going to be to yarn over, looking at this stitch that we just put in, and then going right below it, there's that space between these 2 single crochets here. Put your hook in there and then pull up and give yourself a little bit of a generous, not yank big, but just so that it's not tight. And then we're going to do that again, except that we're going to go into, okay, go row 1 row over and down. Do that again. Yarn over, go 1 row over and down. That's the long spike of our leaf. And now we're going to go 1 row up and over. First we have to yarn over and go into that space, and then we'll yarn over and we'll go up and over 1 more. Now we have all of these loops on here. We're going to yarn over and pull through all of them at once. This is what creates our leaf. Now to close this off, we're going to chain 2. So that's move number 6. And move number 7 is to single crochet into the stitch above the last leg of the leaf, which is this guy right here. So we're going to go into the single crochet right there to close that leaf off. All right, we've made our first leaf stitch. So we are going to single crochet into the last 1, 2, 3 stitches that are on here, which is going to match up on this side. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we technically have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when we can include our corner stitch, which we always do, 5. So you should have equal stitches on each side. So 5 on here, 5 over here, and your leaf stitch in the middle. All right. Now chain 2. We're going to do that together one more time. So I just made my corner. That's going to count as my first stitch of this side here. Now we're going to go into the next 4. Once again, I'm catching up the yarn in the back. It just, for me, it helps to tack everything down. 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to do our leaf stitch again. All right, remember, before you poke your hook into any of these holes, you're going to yarn over every time, okay? Just makes a nice full stitch. So we yarn over, we're going right below the stitch we just made into the row below. Yarn over, pull up. Yarn over, go 1 over and down. And pull up, yarn over, go over and down. And then pull up, yarn over, go 1 row up and over. Yarn over, go a row up and over. And then pull through all of the loops on your hook. Chain 2. And then work into the single crochet right above the last leg of your leaf. Boop, there we go. You should have 3 left on this side. So 1, 2, 3, and then we've got our corner. All right, so that is leaf number 2. All right, both of the next 2 sides, of course, are going to be working exactly the same as these 2 sides just worked. Now remember, we started with a corner, so we've already got the last stitch of this round in there. So we're going to skip all the hoopla in the middle and go right into that stitch and slip stitch. All right, we are ready to move on to our round 7, which we're not going to cut our color. We're going to stay with the same color for the next 3 rows again. All right, so we're going to slip stitch into our corner like usual. Chain 1, single, chain 2, and single. Okay, so we're going to do some fancy stitching as we go across here. That's what I like to say. But what we're doing is we're going to be replacing the 3 stitches that we went over with this. And we're going to be putting them into some strategic spots on the leaf itself so that it doesn't make the leaf stand out oddly. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're going to put a stitch into the loops that were made when we pulled through all of them here, okay? And then there is kind of this close off one when we did our first chain. And then there is the space that the last of the chain 2s made. So we're going to actually put a stitch into all 3 of those. So this is the first chain, and then this is the space for the second chain. And then we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You should have a total of 15 stitches per side. Let's count that. Not counting this guy because this is the last stitch for this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So like I said, we're replacing those 3 stitches that we actually skipped over as we're going through this row. Chain 2 and single. We're going to work that leaf over one more time. So this is 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, the loops created when we pulled through all of the loops, the first loop created by the first chain, and the space created by the second chain. All right, those are our 3 stitches covered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the corner, which is 6, and that should be 15 stitches again. All right, so I'm not sure if you can see this because of the white on there or not, but this is what it looks like right now. I'm going to finish these 2 sides. I'll be right back. Okay, I completed the last 2 sides. I've gone ahead and slip stitched to my first single crochet. And like I said, if at any point things are getting a little bit ripply on you, just, you know, pull on your sides a little bit, kind of even things out. All right, so we are going to be working rows 8 through 10 on our own. Once again, these are going to be identical to these rows down here where we're going to be slip stitching into our corner and creating our corner, and then just single crocheting into each of the single crochets around. So on row 8, you will have 17 stitches per side, because once again, we're only adding 2 stitches per side. So it'll go 17 stitches on row 8, 19 stitches on row 9, and 21 stitches per side on round 10. All right, I will come back after round 10 and we're going to be switching colors again. Okay, round 10 is completed. I've got 21 stitches per side, and I'm going to go ahead and snip off this yarn. I'm going to bring in my next color, which I'm going to be using this pink. And we're going to do another row of leaves. Now, each row, we're going to get incrementally bigger. So like this has 1, the next row is going to have 2, the next row will have 3, and our last row of leaves will have 4. So we're going to be spacing them out a little bit differently. I'm just going to swing over here because I don't want to deal with this string right now. All right, so we're going to go into our first corner. Any one of the corners works. Create your corner like normal. Single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. And then we're going to single crochet into our first 5 on this row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to make our first leaf. So yarn over, go row down and pull through, down and over, yarn over, down and over, sorry, down and over. There we go. I just want to make sure you give yourself space with that one. Yarn over, go up and over, yarn over, go up and over. All right. Chain 2 and single in the last leg. Now we are going to single crochet into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's do our next leaf. So yarn over, go down, yarn over, down and over, yarn over, down and over, yarn over, up and over, and yarn over, up and over. Through all of our loops, chain 2, single into that last leg, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches remain. 2, 3. So it's actually going to end with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then your corner. All right, let me show you the magic that we just did. We actually have 5 stitches in between. We've got our corner, which is going to make a 6th, but we're not really paying attention to that at the moment. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, because we end the leaf with a stitch into the row or the side, that doesn't get counted, so I can't write the pattern as, oh, single and 5, do a leaf, and then single and 5, because that's counted as part of the leaf, not part of the stitches in between. So that's why it might feel weird at first to do the leaf and then do 4 and then do the leaf and then do 4. You actually are getting the same amount of stitches in between. It's just the way that it had to be written because of how the leaf is made. All right, didn't want to confuse you or anything like that, but sometimes people wonder, why did you do what you did? So now I'm just explaining why I set that up the way that I did. So in reality, you'll have 6 over here because you've got your starting stitch in the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This counts as 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23 is what you should have on this row. So let's go ahead and turn this corner. We're going to do this row or this side together, and then I'm going to let you go. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to make our leaf. Yarn over, go 1 row down, yarn over, down and over, yarn over, down and over, yarn over, up and over, yarn over, up and over. Through them all, chain 2, the single crochet of the last leg, and now 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to make our leaf again. Yarn over, go down a row. Yarn over, down and over. Yarn over, down and over. Yarn over, up and over. Yarn over, up and over. Chain 2, single on the last leg, and then in the last 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the corner. All right, so once again, you should have 6 before, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This counts as 3, 4, 5, sorry, 6, 7, 8, 9. There should be 5 in the center. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This counts as 3, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. You're finishing with 6 on this side. All right. So go ahead and finish these last 2 sides here. I will come back. And then once again, it's just going to be 4 more rows of single crochet after this. But this is the pattern throughout. You're going to do 2 more leaf rows after this. And I know that those single crochets get agonizing as the thing gets bigger. And if you're anything like me, single crochet is not your favorite stitch to make over and over and over again. However, we need that pretty single crochet background so that we can make these leaves pop out. And it just makes the pattern far more dynamic. Alrighty, so let's finish up this leaf row. I'll come back. We'll do 1 more single crochet side together, and then I'll let you roll with the next 3 rows. All right, I accidentally started round 12 without you. So go ahead, slip stitch to your corner, make your single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Then go ahead and single crochet into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches before the leaf. And then we're going to do the exact same thing that we did down here. So we're going to single into the loops that closing off all these guys made. We're going to single crochet into the loops that were made by the first chain. And we're going to single crochet into that space made by the second chain. And then we're going to single into the 5 in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now single into the first set of loops, the second set of loops, and the third space. And then in the last 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then go ahead and start your corner with that first single crochet. All right, and there's our side complete. You are going to have a total of 25 stitches going across because remember, when we count in our corners, we're adding 2 stitches to the side. So we counted out, this would be 23 using just the stitches from the round below. Remember when we counted that earlier and we counted these for 3. So now we actually have those 3 stitches there, which if we don't count our corners, you'll only have 23 stitches going across here, but adding our corners in, we have 25. All right, so go ahead, finish your corner and finish your sides. And then rows 13, 14, and 15 are all going to be single crochet rows like these down here. I'm going to go ahead and let you finish up this color. We're going to come back after round 15 and we're going to change colors one more time. We'll be doing 3 sets of leaves going across that row. All right, I've completed my pink all the way through round 15. You should have 31 stitches between your corners on round 15, okay, per side. Now we are going to change our color again, and we're going to be putting 3 leaves in on this row. I'm going with a slightly darker gray. You can see that it's not quite the same as this silvery gray in the center. I just want a little bit of contrast. So we're going to start our corner just like normal. Okay, and then we're going to start into the side itself with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, let's get into this row. We're going to start with single crocheting into the first 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to do our first leaf. So working right underneath that first single crochet. And then yarn over, down and over. Yarn over, down and over. Yarn over, up and over. Yarn over, up and over. through all of them and chain 2. Single into the last. All right, we completed that leaf. Now we're going to single crochet into the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will technically put 6 single crochets between your leaves. Do the next leaf. Down and over, down and over, up and over, up and over. All right, yarn, not yarn over twice, chain twice, and single. Now single in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And last leaf. And if you are wondering if I do the down and over, up and over thing, I do it on every single leaf because it helps me make sure that I'm putting my stuff in the right place. Because you can get, you know, pretty complacent after a while, after you've been doing something for a minute. All right, so we've finished our leaf. We're gonna single into the last 4, 2, 3, and 4, and go ahead and put the first single crochet of that corner in there. So the reason we did that is so that you can see how each side needs to be equal. Each one of these is going to have 6 stitches in between it technically. So we've got 1 in the corner and then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 6. This is going to count as 3. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count as 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count as 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're totally evenly spaced on each of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 24 plus 9 is going to be 33 stitches between here and here. Now, that's 33 stitches on this row. When you get to your single crochet row, which I'm not going to work with you on because we've already done these single crochet rows several times now. So the next single crochet row is going to be 35. And then your next 3 rows, of course, are going to increase by 2 going up, okay? So just make sure that each row is increasing by 2 so that by the time that you get to round 20, you should be at 41 stitches. All right. Okay. I'll see you back here after round 20 because we're on 16. So 17, 18, 19, 20. You got another 4 rows of single crochet after this. All right. I'll see you in a little bit. All right. So we are on round 21. I went ahead and I worked my first 3 sides, and I'm going to just work with you on this one side so that you can get your leaves down where they need to be. Otherwise, the construction is exactly the same as the last rows that we've worked on. It's just a little bit different count. All right, so I've made my corner, and you should have in your corner single crochet, 2 chains, single crochet. All right, we're going to single into 6 stitches to begin this particular round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we're going to do our leaf. So down, and then down and over, down and over, up and over, and up and over. Now we are going to repeat the next set of instructions a total of 3 times. It says single crochet into 5 and make a leaf. So we're going to, you know, because this last one counts as part of the leaf. So we're not counting that as part of our 5. We're going to do another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll do a leaf, which ends with that single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a leaf. And then we'll do the same here. And we'll end up with a leaf over here. The last thing that we will do is put single crochet into the last 4 single crochets across the top. Let's go ahead and do that. So now we're going to work into 5. 1, 2, excuse me, 3, 4, and 5. So you will have a total of 6 stitches there. And then let's make our leaf. Down and over, down and over, up and over, and up and over. Chain 2, and then our finishing single crochet. All right, so let's do that again. This is time number 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You'll have a total of 6 once again. Let's make our leaf. And close that off. Chain 2. Single to finish it. And then one more time. This is our third time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then make our leaf. Chaining 2. And closing that off with that last one. We should have 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's perfect. So you know how I typically keep things fairly symmetrical. Well, this one, there just wasn't a way to keep it completely symmetrical on both sides. I'm slip stitching to my first single crochet. So on this side, you're going to have 7 single crochets over here. You'll have 6 stitches in all of the remaining spots in between. It was just off by 1 enough so that I had to skew it on one end. It's not something you're ever going to notice when you're looking at your finished pillow. So I wouldn't worry about that so much. But from here on, it's just going to be rows 20 through 25. So 22, 23, 24, 25. Exact same construction as this. And then we'll come back for one more round, and that's row 26. And then we will be done with the front of our blanket. And row 26 is honestly nothing super duper special. I used brown. I'm just going to bring over my original. I used brown, and I just surrounded the front pillow form with a single row of a different color, so that I could do the same back here on the back part of the pillow, so that I could incorporate it into the flap. This is a fun spot where you can, you know, bring in some of those scrappy colors or something that you might have a very small amount of, but you really want to incorporate it into your pillow. Putting it into those small little spots of the pattern are a great way to bring that in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up my rounds 22 through 25. I'll come back so that you can see what my alternative color is going to be. And then we will be done with the front of our cushion. All right, I have completed all of my rows through round 25. And now I'm going to use, this is the color I decided to go with as my accent color. It's going to be right here, like this brown. And I'm going to use it right here, like this brown. And then I'm also going to use it as the flap color on my pillow. I decided to go with something a little bit brighter. I thought it would be kind of fun. Plus, I tried all of my minty and limey and yellow greens up against this, and nothing stuck out to me, and the teal did. So I'm going to go with a happy bright color. All right, so once again, this is just like the rows we've been doing. All we're going to do is a single crochet all the way across. We're going to attach exactly the same way we've done on every corner, and we're just going to go ahead and bust out this row. I am going to let you go ahead and do that. This is the last row or round of the front of our pillow. So once you finish this row, you can go ahead and cut off your color. And you can set this part aside because we are then going to start working on the back part of our pillow, which is going to be a granny square section. So I will see you in just a little bit.